Dear friends, today's lecture is based on life cycle pattern of Vaucaria. Systematic position of the Vaucaria. This alga belong to division Xanthophyta, but according to Frisch classification, this algae belong to division Chlorophyta. But according to Chapman and Chapman classification, this classification is included in our syllabus. This alga belong to division Xanthophyta. Class Xanthophyceae, order Siphoneles, family Vaucariaceae and genus Vaucaria. Then occurrence, habitat of the Vaucaria. Number 1, most of the species are freshwater or terrestrial, but a few are marine. Few species of Vaucaria are marine, but majority species are freshwater. They are growing in the freshwater bodies as well as the moist substratum of the soil as a terrestrial alga. Number 2, total number of species of Vaucaria is 54, and among these 54 number, 19 species are occur in our India. 19 total number of Vaucaria species are 54 and 19 species of Vaucaria occur in our India. Number 3, some common Indian species are Vaucaria amphibia, Vaucaria polysperma, Vaucaria uncinata, Vaucaria geminata and Vaucaria sessilis. These are the some most common species of the Vaucaria. Then about the thallus structure of Vaucaria. Number 1, Vaucaria has a sparingly branched, sparingly means thinly, not profusely, thinly branched cenocytic and siphonaceous. Cenocytic means what? This term is very famous in the fungal studies, also used in the algal studies. Cenocytic means well developed, branched, aseptate, tube-like structure of the filament. Algal thallus or fungal thallus is called as the cenocytic. Cenocytic means well developed, branched, aseptate, multinucleate thallus, that is the cenocytic. And siphonaceous, siphonaceous means tubular, tube-like. So thallus of the Vaucaria is thinly branched, sparingly branched, cenocytic and siphonaceous. Number 2, the filaments shows apical growth and they attain a length of several centimeters. The apical tips of the filament causes the further growth of the filaments. Number 3, they are aseptate. Filaments of the Vaucaria are aseptate, but septa or cross walls, septa means cross walls, but septa or cross walls are formed at the time of the formation of reproductive structures. These cross walls or septa are altogether absent in the Vaucaria, but at the time of formation of the reproductive structures, these septa are formed. Number 4, terrestrial species remain attached to the soil surface with the help of branched rhizoids. These Vaucaria having the rhizoids, these simple root-like structures, they are their function is function of the root-like functioning, that is the attachment to the substratum as well as absorption of water and minerals from the substratum. Okay, terrestrial species remain attached to the soil surface. Okay, then in Vaucaria mayanadensis, mayanadensis is one of the species. The thallus is differentiated into well developed underground rhizoidal system and erect aerial system. Okay, in this species developed underground rhizoidal system can be occurs, as well as the aerial branches can be occurs. Now this is the structure of matured Vauqueria thallus. You see at the base of the thallus there are the rhizoids, and at the tip of the rhizoids siphon like or tube like thallus is there, or filaments are there, and they are branched, aseptate and multinucleate. At the tip, at the time of maturity, they can produce antheridia as well as the oogonia as a reproductive, male and female reproductive organs. So this is the very simple thallus structure of the Vauqueria. Now about reproduction of Vauqueria. Vauqueria can be reproduced by vegetatively, asexually by asexual spores, and sexually. Number 1, vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation of the vegetative filaments. As you know that fragmentation is the most common vegetative reproduction takes place in the lower plants or in cryptogams, particularly in algae, fungi, lichens, in some cases bryophytes. Okay, and this fragmentation is also present in the Vauqueria, which is the vegetative reproduction. Number 2, asexual reproduction. Vauqueria reproduces by variety of asexual spores. Number of asexual spores are developed in the Vauqueria. Formation of these spores depends upon environmental factors. How environmental factors can be affected on the spore formation? Because in some cases environmental conditions are favorable, at the same in sometimes environmental conditions are unfavorable, and in favorable and unfavorable conditions spore formation type is different. For example, zoospores, aplanospores, akinets, these are the some common names of the asexual spores in the Vauqueria. The one spore type, that is the zoospore. The details about the zoospore. Number 1, asexual reproduction in aquatic species of Vauqueria usually takes place by means of multiflagellate and multinucleate zoospores. Where these zoospores are developed? In aquatic species of Vauqueria. How they are? What is their structure? They are multiflagellate and multinucleate. Okay. Then number 2, zoospores are produced singly in club-shaped zoosporangia. The zoospores are developed in the sporangium, and that sporangium is called as the zoosporangium, plural zoosporangia, which are formed at the tip of the filament, and these zoosporangia are formed at the tip of the filaments. Number 3, before germination they withdraw their flagella and becomes deflagellated, non-motile and sluggish. Okay, when these spores are released from the zoosporangium, when they settle down on the suitable substratum, at the time of germination they withdraw their flagella and they become a non-flagellated, means non-motile, sluggish, and they causes the germination. Number 4, soon 1 or 2 tubular siphoneous outgrowths come out. When these zoospores are germinates, they can produce 1 or 2 tubular outgrowths like a germ tube. Number 5, in terrestrial species, one of the outgrowth attaches itself to the substratum and function as holdfast, whereas the other forms erect branched system. In terrestrial system, one filament goes toward the substratum and function as a holdfast, and other aerial species worked as a erect branches. Okay. Then aplanospores. Number 1, aplanospores are commonly formed in terrestrial species of Vauqueria, but in aquatic species such spores are produced under unfavorable conditions. Here the two conditions are there about the formation of aplanospores. In terrestrial species they are common, but in aquatic species they are develops only in unfavorable conditions. Number 2, like zoospores, aplanospores are also formed singly within the aplanosporangium. How zoospores are developed in the zoosporangium? Like that, the aplanospores are developed in the aplanosporangium, that is the sporangium of aplanospores. So then last one, aplanospores are thin walled, their wall is the thin, they are club shaped, their structure or globose, then multinucleate, they are multinucleate spores. Then about the achaenates. Number 1, third type of asexual spore, achaenate. Number 1, some terrestrial and aquatic species, when subjected to unfavorable conditions, contents of their filaments divide into small segments by thick gelatinous wall. Okay. In terrestrial aquatic species, under unfavorable conditions, the achaenates are formed due to formation of segments inside the filament. Number 2, these thick walled multinucleate segments are called achaenates. The small segment present in between two walls is called as the achaenate. Then cysts or hypnospores. These achaenates also called as cysts or hypnospores. Number 3, they germinate under favorable conditions, each forming a new thallus. Under favorable conditions, achaenates can germinate and produce a new individual thallus of the Vaucheria. This is about the structure of the zoospores and achaenates. You see, the first in zoospores, A diagram, zoosporangium is developed at the tip of the filament. In B diagram, the zoosporangium is breaking and zoospores are liberated. In C diagram, matured zoospore, multinucleate, multiflagellate, club shaped is there, and in E diagram, that zoospores are developed due to and 3 tube-like tubular germotubes or siphonoecious structures are developed. In achaenates, the gelatinous walls are developed inside the filaments, and the protoplast of the filaments are separated from each other, and in small segment of the protoplast, which is the thick walled, having dense amount of cytoplasm and multinuclei, and that structure is called as the achaenate. Then sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction in Vaucheria is oogamous. Oogamous is the advanced sexual reproduction in cryptogams, in which male gamete is the motile, female gamete is the non-motile. Fusion between male motile and female non-motile gamete is nothing but the oogamous type of sexual reproduction. Number 2, it takes place with the help of specialized sex organs called as antheridium and the oogonium. Antheridium, male reproductive organ, and oogonium is the female reproductive organ. Number 3, most of the species are homothallic, but some are heterothallic. This is the sexual differentiation in the Vaucheria. Most species are homothallic, means monoecious. In homothallic or monoecious condition, male and female reproductive organs, antheridium and oogonium, can be developed on the single thallus. But in dioecious condition, heterothallic condition, male thallus is different, female thallus is different. Male thallus produces antheridium and female thallus produces the oogonium. Both type of sexual differentiation can be occurs in the Vaucheria. Then about the antheridium, which is the male reproductive structure. The antheridia develop on main filament or its lateral branches as strongly curved cylindrical structures. These antheridia always develops at the apical tip of the main filament or its branches, and that tip at the time of formation of antheridia that tip is strongly curved and hook like structure is develops at the tip of the filament. That hook like structure is nothing but the developmental stage of the antheridium. Number 2, large number of chromatophores and nuclei accumulate in this region, and this curved part is then cut off from the rest of the filament by the septum. The hook like curved part is develops. That curved part contains number of chromatophores as well as number of nuclei. So, that is the multinucleate structure, and at the base of that hook like structure septum is formed, and due to formation of septum the apical hook like structure or curved structure behave as a individual cell, that is the male reproductive structure antheridium. Number 3, the nuclei present in this region divide mitotically, and then the protoplast divides to form many uninucleate segments, and whatever the nuclei present in this antheridium divide mitotically, regular cell division is formed, and in this way many nuclei are formed in the antheridium, and the protoplast of the antheridium divides into small segment, and each segment contains the single male nucleus. Number 4, each segment metamorphoses into a spindle shaped biflagellate antherozoid. The small amount of the protoplast containing single nucleus converted into single antherozoid or spermatozoid or sperm, also called as male gamete. Okay. So, in this way many antherozoids are developed inside the antheridium. Number 5, the two flagella are of unequal length, dissimilar and laterally inserted. Okay. These antherozoids are male gametes are flagellated, flagella are two biflagellated, and that flagella are unequal in length. They are dissimilar in structure, and they are attached lateral side of the antherozoid. Number 6, the antherozoids are liberated through an aperture at the anterior end of the antheridium. At the time of maturity of the antherozoids, the tip of the antheridium means anterior side of the antheridium, it will ruptures or it will opens through aperture, and through that aperture, through that small hole, the antherozoids are liberated from the antheridium and reaches toward the oogonium. Now, about the female reproductive structure oogonium. Number 1, the oogonium initiates as a small protuberance at the base of the antheridium, which is formed due to the accumulation of cytoplasm and large number of nuclei. Okay. Where this oogonium is formed, oogonium always develops on the same filament where the antheridium is develops, and toward the lateral side of the antheridium, toward the lower side of the antheridium, some protoplast is accumulated and small protuberance is develops, and which is having the dense amount of cytoplasm and multinucleate structure. That small protuberance converted into oogonium. Number 2, this dense multinucleate mass of the cytoplasm is called wanderplasm, and that protuberance having many nuclei called as the wanderplasm, and this wanderplasm further converted into oogonium. Number 3, it gradually increases in size and forms an ovoid or rounded oogonium, which is separated from the subtending filament by the septum. In this way, the rounded or ovoid oogonium is develops from the wanderplasm, and at the base of the oogonium cross wall is develops, that is nothing but the septum. Number 4, the mature oogonium is spherical. Mature oogonium is spherical or subspherical with apical beak. Mature oogonium is spherical structure or subspherical structure having the apical beak. Beak means which is the mouth of the oogonium. From that beak, the antherozoids are entered in the oogonium. Number 5. It has only a single nucleus. The oogonium has a single nucleus. The other nuclei are present in the young state degenerate after the septum is laid down. Basically, in young condition of the oogonium, that oogonium is multinucleate. At the time of septum formation, at the base of the oogonium, the multinucleate structure is there, and that many nuclei are degenerate and only single nucleus is present, remain present inside the matured oogonium, and young oogonium is the multinucleate, but matured nucleus is the matured oogonium is the single nucleated. Number 6. The uninucleate protoplast of the matured oogonium forms an egg. The uninucleate single nucleus having the protoplast of the oogonium form the single egg inside the oogonium. That egg is nothing but the non-motile structure, and egg is nothing but the female gamete. Now, this is about the structure, about the number A diagram. The antheridial branch is there, which is going to curve. In B diagram, totally curvature is formed. In B diagram, at the base of the antheridial branch, the chondroplasm is develops or protuberance is develops. That protuberance further converted into the oogonium, and that hook converted into the antheridium. You will go in this diagram, then you can carefully read this diagram, observe this diagram, then you will know that how developmental changes takes place in the development of the antheridium and oogonium, and how antherozoids or male gametes are releases from the oogonium and reaches up to the male gametes releases from the antheridium and reaches up to the oogonium, and how the antherozoids and egg is fuses and diploid zygotic condition is develops. Then about the fertilization. Number 1. Antheridia and oogonia mature almost simultaneously. When antheridium is matures, simultaneously oogonium is also matures. Number 2. The tip of the apical beak of oogonium gelatinizes to form an aperture. The tip of the oogonium, there is a beak, that beak is opens, okay? And that opening is nothing but the opening aperture or the beak. Number 3. Simultaneously large number of antherozoids are liberated from the adjacent antheridium. As you know that at the tip of the oogonium, antheridium is there, and when the mouth of the oogonium is mature, mouth of the oogonium is opens, at the same time the antheridia releases the male gametes or sperms or spermatozoids or antherozoids. Number 4. A drop of colorless cytoplasm comes out of the apical beak of the egg, and number of antherozoids get entangled in this drop. At the same time, when sperms are releases from the antheridium, at the same time the beak of the oogonium releases the drop of the cytoplasm, and through this cytoplasm the antherozoids or sperms are entered in the oogonium. Number 5. Only one of many antherozoids entered in the oogonium and fuses with the egg. In this way, diploid zygote is formed. Many sperms are entered in the oogonium, but single nucleus, single sperm on first come first serve basis, the first coming nucleus fuses with the first coming male gamete or first coming sperm is fuses with the egg, and diploid zygotic condition is formed. then zygote and its germination. Number 1, the zygote secretes a 3 to 7 layered thick wall. When the fertilization takes place, zygote is formed and that zygote produces the 3 to 7 layered wall, which is the thick. Number 2, it remains in the oogonium until it is liberated by decay of the oogonial wall. Thus, zygote always present in the oogonium up to degradation or decay of the oogonial wall. Okay. When wall of the oogonium will be decaying, the zygote is come outside from the oogonium. Number 3, zygote remains dormant for a few months before germination. When this zygote come outside from the oogonium, it remains dormant for few months. Number 4, after expiry of dormant period, the zygote germinates to form a new thallus. After expiry of the dormant condition, that zygote germinates and produces the new individual thallus of the Vaucaria. Number 5, before germination, its diploid nucleus divides to form 4 haploid nuclei. When haploid male nucleus present in the sperm, haploid female nucleus present in the egg fuses, diploid zygotic condition is formed at the time of germination. That diploid zygote goes in the reduction division meiosis, and that diploid zygote converted into haploid conditions. In this way, 4 haploid nuclei are developed inside the zygote after meiosis. Number 6, repeated divisions of these nuclei result in formation of cynocytic thallus. At the time of germination of the zygote, that zygote goes in the meiosis, many nuclei are formed, that 4 nuclei are formed, and that 4 nuclei goes in the repeated nuclear division or repeated mitosis, and many nuclei are developed. In this way, the siphonaceous structure or cynocytic structure or the filament or thallus of the Vaucaria is developed, which is the well developed branched septate multinucleate structure. Okay. Now, this is the reference I have used while preparing this presentation. Thank you very much.